It is indeed a wonderful opportunity to do this pre-placement talk with MCC. Congratulations, first of all, to all of you for having cleared one of the biggest milestone in your life and getting into the next phase of life. My name is Venkat Raman. I work with Wipro. Um, I head the India direct and indirect taxes for Wipro. So I'm in with Wipro for the last 16 years, and one of the first batch member for cohort. So have a lot of interesting things or experience uh, to share with all of you, and looking forward to see most of you in the pre-campus and the campus interviews for Wipro. Great place to work with. With that as a background, let me get started. I see a couple of my team members are also here. And is there anything, Dale or Naren, that we have to kind of start with, or I can get straight to the presentation?
You can get into the presentation directly. Venki.
Dale, we are live on YouTube, right?
YouTube. Yes,
so,
yes.
So Venki, over to you. You can go ahead, please.
Nice to see you, Naren. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, same here. Nice.
I'm just trying to get the PPT up. Yeah. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see the.
We can see, Venki.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so the way we will chart out this presentation of 45 minutes as for the first 20 or 25 minutes, not more than that. I will take some time to explain as to what Wipro is all about. Well, of course, the name Wipro, I'm sure most of you or all of you would have heard. What is that we do and what is that we stand for, where we started and how we have transformed and what we are today. I think that will take around 15-20 minutes, not more than that. And then probably next 10 minutes, I will spend some time in explaining what the Wipro Cohorts program is and how it is different. And as a direct recipient of that program, right, as the first cohort program member, I can share a couple of experiences, and you will also get to see some of your predecessors or people who have passed out earlier to you have given as a feedback to the cohorts program. I think that is how we will chart it out. I'm sure there is a Q&A which is enabled separately, and we would be happy to take the questions. We'll try to answer it at the end of this session, or we will probably connect separately as well and give you the feedbacks as and when, if we are running short of time. Right. So Wipro, right? We are a 75-year-old company, right? It looks big, right? And it looks wow, like 75-year-old company started way back in 1945. A very humble start, I would say. With in fact, many of you, I don't know how many of you would know, Wipro means Western India Vegetable Products Limited. That's what the expansion of Wipro is. Right? Yeah, it has Vegetable Products Limited in its name, in its name, and right now as well, right? While it is called as Wipro, started on 29th December 1945. That's when it was incorporated and started as a vegetable oil company by the great visionaries, and it kind of then got into. The IT came in later, right? IT came in much later. You can see 1981, and I think 1981 also we were in products, right? And then IT services started in 1990. One of the few companies which got itself listed with NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, way back in 2000, and we did an acquisition called SpectraMind somewhere in 2002. That's when we got into our BPO business, which is called Business Process Outsourcing. Now it is called DOP, Digital Operations and Platforms. Right. And then Wipro has grown multiple bounds from there, right? We were one of the top 3 IT services company, did a lot of acquisitions, especially in 2010 timeframe, Aperio. In fact, I still remember the days when the first acquisition was InfoCrossing, which was a $1 billion deal. It was very rare at that point of time. and then Aperio. All of these acquisitions are very, very strategic acquisitions where wherever we have, we wanted to get into a space where we can service customer better, can do a combined offerings to the customer, and that is the space where we got into that, where we did the acquisitions. All of this are strategic acquisitions: Aperio, Topcoder, Designate. We can make, in fact, the recent one in 2020, in 2021 was a Capco acquisition for $1.45 billion. Very, very aggressive player in acquisitions, and which has helped significantly in Wipro's growth story. We relaunched our brand and re-articulated Spirit of Wipro. Couple of these points we will see in our subsequent slides also. But as I said, we completed 75 years and grown multiple bounds. In fact, when I still remember when I joined the company, we were, I think, $1.5 billion or $2 billion company in terms of revenue. Right now, we are easily above $10 billion. But I mean, while we have grown multiple ground, how we have strengthened our integrity, how we have given back to the society, how we have grown, and what that means to the society in which we are in, and to our customers, I think is the one of the most important point. I think some of those data points or some of our thoughts on this, we will share it in the subsequent slides. Right? What's our vision? Right? Well, we see we have grown significantly. Our vision is that be a trusted partner to our clients, right? Because what we just don't offer a solution to the customer. We are part of their transformation journey, right? When I say Wipro is in the field of IT services, and IT services, when it means how to make customers' life easy, right? In a sense, how do you transform their functioning, right? How do you make customers functioning much more easier than what they are? How do you innovate and be part of their transformation journey, I think, right? And it's not easy to survive in such a tough market, as you know, who are the other peers we are fighting with, right? So for that, you have to be a trusted partner to our clients. So one of our vision through our activities to achieve through our leaderships that we have, and with the outcomes that we have and outcomes that we get, right? Be a trusted partner to our clients. Right, that's number one. So two is deliver industry leading values, right? So you have to be part of the business solutions, and you have to see how do you apply your digital capabilities and your innovations to the customer, right? Which is what can give which is what can give you the which can only give you a leading value to the customers, right? With the talents we have, because huge amount of talent pool, right? Currently our employee strength has surpassed 260,000 people, right? With a huge talent pool, which we have our organic as well as in inorganic when we acquire companies like Designate and Aperio, who comes with a lot of consulting and Designate kind of a knowledge. How do you deliver industry leading values to with those wonderful talent is the second vision, and we constantly keep innovating around it, right? You can, as I said, you can become from a $2 billion or less than a $2 billion to a $10+ billion company, but what has been the differentiator for Wipro, if I have to say, with past 16 years that I have seen, is the unwavering commitment to the society and the communities, right? Which is very, very important. I think you can hardly find many comparables to Wipro in the way they have given back to the society from what it has earned. I think these are broadly our vision. We are very proud about it, and I'm sure this is what has taken us to wherever we are. And how do you realize this, right? Through the vision. How do you realize that vision, right? What is your strategy to realize that vision, right? Business transformation. You have to be part of the customer's requirement. How question each and everything that you get into in terms of why something is being done this way, why can't it be done something differently, right? Be part of their business transformation. Question the status quo. create see what is the value you can create to the customer, right? Once you understand how do you transform the business of the customer, right, then you see what modernization you can do around them, right? You can be an AI, right, artificial intelligence, or various other tools that is available, or our in-house tools, which we call it as Wipro Homes, right? So how do you, once you understand what is the transformation that the customer has to go through, what are all the modernization techniques that you can apply to make that easier and to make that more appealing to the customer. Once you identify that bit of it in terms of modernization, then see what are all the connected things that you can what are all the connected things that you can link for the customer to derive the maximum value. What are all the various touch points that the customer has, so that these modernization tools can be used for those connected things as well, so that the maximum benefit can be derived by the customer. And the last but not the least is the trust, right? Trust means two things according to me, right? Which is, one, you ensure that you create a foolproof system, because you're always subject to risk, right? One. And two is also that you create the trust with the customer, that boss, this is the guy whom I have to go to, so that I can be assured of a trusted system which can help me to do my business in a much more smoother way, right? These are our strategies. When we see our vision, these are the strategies that we see as something which we need to follow to achieve those vision. And these are what are the enablers, right? Once you may have a strategy, and what enables you to achieve that strategies, right? Which is our talent, which is what I elaborated a minute back as well. And what are our in-house IPs and in-house platforms, because we have a huge resource pool which are dedicated for these things. And you very open innovation ecosystem. Nobody will question you. You're a hierarchical. You'll hardly see the hierarchy stops you from doing anything. Hierarchy throws you in terms of restrains you from doing anything, right? In fact, one of the acquisition which you would have seen in one of the previous slides is called Top Coder. Top Coder is a very innovative tool, where even though if you are working on a project, this is more applicable from a techie's perspective, but I'm just giving you a perspective, right? Where you have an open platform where a challenge will be thrown. So irrespective of the fact that you are dedicated and allocated to a project where you work dedicatedly to the customer, you can still participate in that challenge which is thrown in the Top Coder, platform, right? That's how the platform works. So that it continuously encourages you to be innovative, and the ecosystem completely supports you to be like that. And this is what I explained you is no different from how it is followed in the finance as well. There is absolutely no boundaries for you to do what you want to do, be how much ever innovative you are, because the organization will completely support it. So what are our values, right? You saw our vision, you saw our strategy, and what do we stand for, right? Client success is our success. I think it's no different for Wipro, and we do it very closely for that. And whenever the clients are happy, we have so many instances, we have so many wonderful stories that we can keep writing, and we have that internal portals in Wipro where the wonderful stories of client success and how innovative our engineers and our solutions have been gets described. Those are our pride, and those are what we stand for. Treat everyone with respect. I think that goes without saying, because that is what we stand for. In fact, we have our spirit of Wipro, as well as the 5 habits, which is dedicated for this. And our chairman spends considerable amount of time in re-emphasizing these things, and you would have also seen a lot of his videos where he re-emphasizes these points regularly. Be global and responsible, right? I mean, we are spread across multiple countries, and how responsible you can be for every geopolitical environments or any other things is very important. Unyielding integrity. I think this is something which even at in my mid of my night, if somebody wakes me up and asks you what Wipro stands for, it's unyielding integrity. We follow that. Every one of us is a proud Wiproite, whomsoever you see here, and that comes from the fact that we have an unyielding integrity in whatever we do. 5 habits. This is the culture of Wipro. If I have to say, how is Wipro, right? And you may have a doubt, and so what does Wipro stand for, and how should I expect people to be there? You would be thinking that I have to work with some 250,000 plus people, and how they will be, right? This is the culture of Wipro, and this message is communicated to every single employee, and everybody will get evaluated on how they follow the 5 habits in their day-to-day operations. And what does 5 habits means? Be respectful, right? Whomsoever you speak to, irrespective of the hierarchy, whether it is higher, lower, irrespective, hierarchy doesn't matter, but you have to treat everyone with respect, right? That's one of the core culture of Wipro. Be responsive, right? You would often see mails are being sent, questions are being asked. You can be in whatever field, right? It can be in business finance, it can be in tax, it can be in any accounting, or it can be everything. Be responsive, help people. Whenever you get an email, ensure that you respond back to that in time, irrespective of from whom it comes from. Be responsive, right? Always communicating. Every one of us follow. What does always communicating means? Communicate with your team, communicate with your bosses, communicate with your customers. Always communicating. Ensure that you stay connected, so that, because once you are well connected, then automatically people will be more coming towards you. So this is followed again by each and every employee of Wipro, demonstrating stewardship. What does that mean? In a simple language, it means that Wipro first, right? It's Wipro, right? We work for Wipro, and I whatever I do, whatever action I take, whatever work I deliver, I ensure that Wipro is put front on that, which means I will ensure my clients are taken care of the best. I will ensure that I deliver everything from my table, which is in the best interest of my customers, which is what where I'm placing Wipro front, right? So demonstrating stewardship is nothing but Wipro first attitude, right? Building trust with your team, building trust with your customers, building trust with your government interactions, right? You should always be seen as a trustable person with whomsoever you work with, right? Which can be anybody, right? So building trust is one of our key 5 habits. These are the cultures of Wipro. You would see most of these cultures are present in most of the employees of Wipro, right? All of the employees, I would say, because this is what we stand for, and this message is communicated very, very crystal clear across the organization. So you may not know anybody in Wipro, you may not know their face, you may not know their name, but what you will find in common is people demonstrating these cultures whenever in their interactions with you. And once you see that these are the core values and these are the core 5 habits that we have, then it becomes easier, right? Because most of this you would be very, very familiar with, and you know how important each of these 5 habits in your day-to-day work culture, right? So what I spoke before is what we stand for, what is our values, what is our strategy, and what are all our 5 habits and culture, and where does, and as I also told you, it is not only revenue or not only the business that matters to Wipro, but the way you deliver it and how responsible you are, right? In terms of social advocacy and business, that is the defining thing for Wipro, much different from anybody else, I would say. And what does that mean to Wipro? This is what it means to Wipro, right? Business fuels the purpose, and 66% of economic interest is with Premji Foundation, and all of you must be very, very familiar with the kind of philanthropic activities that is done by Mr. Premji Foundation, right? And what do we do in Wipro also, right? Is one of the most ethical companies awarded for the 10 consecutive years. I don't know how many companies in India would have an achievement like this, right? Most ethical company, right? And also we are always part of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, right? These are all pride things that we carry, and we ensure that we do not slip at all in meeting this external in benchmarks, right? And how are we socially responsible? How are we in public policy, and how are we what is our business responsibility in terms of sustainability, is what the other things are, in terms of the role that we play in education, the role that we play as a community care, the public policy advocacy that we get into, right? These are the most, I would say, unique experiences and pride things that we carry for ourselves, right? And name anything in terms of any touch points on any of this, we would be there, and we would ensure that the footprints of Wipro is well established there. Again, sustainability distinctions are various accolades. I think every year, without saying, we are there because we are very, very conscious right from everybody in the management, every single employee of Wiproites, right? We Wiproites ensure that we contribute from our side whatever we need to get into this sustainability distinctions. Inclusion and diversity, very, very important. As you see that this has been one of the Wipro is one of the globally recognized for this commitment to inclusion and diversity, and the awards that you see is kind of proof for it. Gender equality, and ensure that everybody is treated equal and everybody has their place and everybody is taken together. I think we significantly, you would see that these parameters have improved significantly in the last couple of years across, and most importantly for Wipro. I think the commitment that we have is very, very strong here, and we'll continue to ensure that we are one of the best organization in giving the commitment, not only giving, but also meeting up with the commitment for inclusion and diversity. That's the brief I had for what we stand for and what is Wipro, and what are our core values, our strategy, our culture, because these are very important things for you to know as to what kind of an organization Wipro is, right? And now getting into the core of Wipro COHORTS program, right? In fact, while the slides are there, I'll share some of my personal experience, right? The COHORTS program started way back in 2006, right? It started, the first batch of cohort was 2006 batch, and I'm very proud that I was part of the first cohort batch program. I had no clue as to what this program is all about, and I was only thinking that after completing my CA, should I have to do one more exams? I mean, is what the broad thought I had in mind, because by then we completed CA, we are always tired, right? Done, no exams, why should I do exams again? But what it meant to me, right, as a cohort program, is that it pushes you to a domain where you're not very comfortable with, or which is not your area of comfort, right? Getting out of a comfort zone is one of a very, very important attribute in a corporate world. We would otherwise not get an opportunity to do that but for this Wipro COHORTS program, because the program module involves international finance, international taxation, business accounting, and data analytics, right? And Wipro way, right? I was in tax from day one, and if left to me as a choice, I wouldn't have done anything other than tax. But I did a paper presentation in international finance. I did a paper presentation on business accounting. I did a paper presentation on treasury, and at that point of time, right, I did my exams, and you would have one of the best in the industry who would come and talk to you about each of this. Your evaluation, you'll work with your teammates. What it means is that you will not only learn on the job, right, which is definitely something which we all will be looking forward, but you will learn even off the job, and which will help you to train to the next level that you have to achieve in your academics. I really had my reservations when I started this cohort program, but at the end of 2 years, the kind of experience I had, the kind of opportunity I had got to interact with who's in the industry, and also learn new concepts and understand what is the perspective of others within because your evaluations will be done by the leaders within Wipro, whom you get to interact with. You can understand a lot of practical things which will be of immense value. You'll establish friends across various teams, which will come very, very handy in your day-to-day work. In fact, the rewards and recognitions, or I would say, is a cherry on the cake, right? It's because the cake in itself is the cohort program, according to me. And trust me when I say this, because as I told you, I was 16 years with Wipro, and substantial time I had spent tax. But for this program, I wouldn't have explored myself outside of tax, which I did, because I got I got very eager to know what is the other area, because when I keep talking and when I keep doing all of this, I thought I should explore my skill in other areas also. Went to FP&A for 2.5 years, did a controllership role for a couple of years, and then again I came back to tax, right? Where will you get an experience of this sort, right? When you're a tax guy, you're a tax guy. When you're an accounting guy, you're an accounting guy. When you're a business finance guy, you will be a business finance guy. For you to train across various functions and know the nuances of all the functions cannot happen without a program like this. And so I mean, rightly so, it has been one of the most successful programs. In fact, all of my batchmates are doing amazingly well. When I say amazingly well, you can leave me out, right? They are the CFOs of the companies. They are CFOs within Wipro in various business units, in various we call it as a GBLs, we call it as SMUs, earlier business units. They were the, I would say, the CFOs at a very, very engaged, thanks to the training, thanks to the confidence, right? Thanks to the confidence that this program had incorporated, and the visibility that it gave, and the reach that it allowed us to do, right? So that's the cohort programs. I didn't strictly go by the slide, but I just gave you what I know of the program from my experience. And everybody will have this doubt in terms of what does corporate finance consists of, right? These are the various, so these allocations, everything, the team will reach out to you or team will tell you, but these are the various. So you would be at some point of time get into rotation in any of these functions. In fact, I think next slide is a little more. Yeah. What does this, each one of it means, right? What does tax means, controllership, treasury, FP&A, secretarial, business finance, business support, audit? What does each one of this means is what is explained here. Frankly, this has evolved amazingly over a period of time. When I joined, it wasn't probably at this amazing level. Of course, it was there, but I had a very clear thought in my mind that I'll be part of tax. So I didn't spend much of time in knowing other things, but this has evolved amazingly well. There is a dedicated team which works in ensuring that the people are put in proper rotation, the people are put in proper training. You will not do two same roles at any point of time. If you are in FP&A, your next rotation will be in business finance. If you are in business finance, your next rotation could be in audit. So it will be like that. There's a enormous amount of efforts, and all of those wonderful people from Wipro are there in the call, and huge congrats to them, or huge kudos to them for running this program amazingly well. And in fact, because we are the ultimate beneficiaries, right? You, me, are the beneficiaries for the hard work that they put in. Right? What will you learn, right? I think briefly touched upon it. Finance, accounting, you would know finance, you would know accounting, you would know business, because you will be part of various roles, right? And you would know, when I am part of FP&A, I know how the P&L is drawn, right? When I am part of controllership, I would know how the accounting is done. When I am part of business finance, I would know how the customer P&L is drawn. When I am part of tax, I would probably know all of them, because I will have to finally defend all of that in the tax assessments, right? So it is like that. Whenever you are part of any function, you would completely know about that function. You will completely understand the operations, not only of the company, but how do you generally do in FP&A? How do I do this when I'm facing with this problem, right? So the experience is immense, and Wipro is one of the best platform to learn. And I can keep talking about it, but you would perhaps understand it much better when you are this part of the table. Few of the feedbacks that we have received, we thought it will be good to share the feedbacks that we have received from the earlier batches, predecessors of yours who just completed the cohorts program. Janvi is one of our star. She is part of controllership team, and this is her feedback. I'm sure all of them will reflect the same kind of thoughts that I've shared it with you. Kamala again is one of the stars that we picked up from the campus, and she has been doing extremely well. Keshav again. You might know these guys. Maybe they are from the same place. You might have seen them as your seniors, so you can check back with them. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the feedbacks from people who have done this program earlier. I'll tell you one of the one of the best part of cohort. Everything is good, but one of the best is that if you are left in your team, right? If then you would probably know only your own team members, right? If you're in FP&A, you will know only people within FP&A, right? That also FP&A is so huge. There is a P&L team, there is an MIS team, there is a revenue team. If you are in P&L team, you will probably know only people who are in P&L team, because you will have very less touch base with the other teams. What this cohort program enables you, right? You will be working with a person in controllership. If you are in FP&A, you'll work with a person in controllership, tax, business finance, internal audit, right, treasury. Whenever you need anything, even on your work, you would want to know something. There is a example, if I have to tell you, in FP&A, you are drawing up a P&L, you're seeing suddenly some of the cost line items going up, and you need to understand why it is going up. You can always call your friend in business finance, right? It is easier to touch base with them rather than you finding out who has to reply to you and sending an email and getting a reply, right? I have found it to be extremely useful, because now I know whom to call, right? I need to get an answer quickly so that I can complete my analysis, I can complete my P&L, ensure that I'm not going wrong anywhere, I'm ensuring that I'm not missing something. This cohort program will, if he is not the right contact, even always tell you, no, I'm not the right guy, you should talk to this guy, he should be able to help you, right? Something of that sort. The kind of connect to this cohort program can give you, I don't know if any other program can come anywhere close, and this can contribute immensely to your success within Wipro. I'm saying, even in your role, in your day-to-day activities, it gives you a lot of satisfaction when you close things quickly than what you expected yourself to close. Raman, again, a star in the cohort program. That's all I had. I think very brief slides. I didn't want to talk too much. Also, I think I have taken half an hour. I think good. I didn't overstep. I'll stop here. Dale, Naren, or people from MCC, if there are any specific questions that you need me to address, I'm available.
Venki, we can open for questions now. So I request everyone to post your questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
So Venki, there are some questions on the chat window which are related to the assessment, CTC, and more admin stuff.
Sure.
So what I'm doing is I'm answering it on the chat box itself.
Sure.
Dale, meanwhile,
should I go to the chat box here or chat box in YouTube? It's
a chat box on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I haven't logged in.
What I'll request is that Dale is there, and Dale, if you can read out any of the questions that are specifically for Venki,
yeah,
and you can just just read out the question for Venki, and then he'll answer.
Sure, Naren.
The program related, I am just answering on the chat window itself, Venki and Dale.
Sure, Naren.
Naren, there's a question on what kind of questions are asked for the online assessment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The program related, all the admin queries, I will answer on the chat itself. Whatever is related to the program, related to the company, what kind of organization we are and all that, I would request Venki to answer. So Dale, if you can just filter out those questions and read it out to Venki,
sure.
That will be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I can share, while the question comes, some more thoughts. In fact, the cohorts, the program which is similar to cohorts program, I think you can probably see in GE. I don't know if there are any other Indian companies has a similar program. Maybe I think Naren, who is front-ending this program in Wipro Enterprises Limited, probably maybe a replica of this, but I think it is GE probably which has a similar program. I don't think any other company you'll see such an elaborate and well thought out programs like what Wipro has.
So Venki, there's a question by Kaushik Chintawar. He's asking, will the program be work from home?
Okay, so I mean, I think work from home should be a general question, not specifically for work from home. And I mean, right now in Wipro, in fact, while it is not mandatory, the employees have been given an option to voluntarily to come to office thrice a week, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There is no plan at this point of time to make it mandatory. Of course, we will probably know about this over a period of time when how things are going to settle down. Having said that, if the work from home is I mean, or work from office, I have to say, it's not mandatory, it's going to be optional. The same would apply to the program as well, in the sense that your assessments will be online, your all of this assessments and your presentations will be managed online through your Teams meeting or whatever which is relevant at that point of time. So that's how that's how it is today. Of course, there could always be a change, but at least there is no update at this point of time as to when this arrangement would change.
Venki, there's a question on what is the duration of the program? So if you can also talk about the rotation and the 2 years time they spent. So if you can just tell them about that, that will be great.
Yeah, the program, the broader, the outer limit timeline for the program is 2 years. And you will start with the first year will be with the team. And at the end of the first year, you would have a rotation, right? And the next rotation probably will happen at the end of second year, which is 2 years you would complete in the next role, and then you will have a rotation at the end of second year, which will be third year in your career. But the program per se is a 2-year program. You would do first year, you will be part of one of the functions, and then you will have a rotation where you will move on to the next function, and you will spend 2 years in that function, post which you will move to the third function. And once you move to the third function, then Wipro has in itself has a rotation policy, which is nothing to do with cohort programs, but every finance person in Wipro will also be subject to a rotation policy. They can always ask for a change of team, and I think that is generally happens between 3 years. I mean, minimum 3 years. So you would be part of that. So that's the broad outline and broad timeline in terms of timeline for rotations. Naren, if you want, or Dale, if you want to add anything specific, please.
No, Venki, I think you summarized very clearly. So, Venki, there's one more question. This is from Dushyant Agarwal, and he's asking, after completion of the program, what opportunities are available?
The opportunity, I would put it this way, Naren. One, of course, it is a knowledge enhancement program, and you would get to experience a lot of things as part of the regular job, right? The opportunities are when you come out as a star in the program, or when you complete the program, you would redefine yourself in terms of where your interest lies. Initially, you may be thinking that you are good at FP&A, and after doing a lot of accounting related presentation, you may want to do a you may want to do you may want to do a role in your controllership, right? Saying that, boss, let me do consolidation, let me do tax, right? So the opportunities are immense. And when you come out, and obviously you would get to interact with all the leaders within Wipro itself, right? Your controller will be there, your head of tax will be there, your head of treasury IR will be there, because they would assess you as part of the programs. And if you do extremely well in those presentations, you would catch their eyes, right? Saying that, boss, this talent looks very good, this talent looks very, very nice. And you would automatically, if there is an opening, and they may even seek your name, saying that I found that guy very, very interesting, why, see if he is also keen, why don't I take him into my team, right? I mean, I have done that. I'm telling you why I'm saying this, because I have done that. When you find a guy to be very, very sharp and very, very enthusiastic during the presentations, and you would always want to see if he would be keen to be part of your team, I would say those are the opportunities that will come to you. You can invent yourself, you can see what is your area of interest. Two, you can interact with the leaders within the organization who can spot the talent and then probably take you into their team and train you. I think that those are the benefits that I have seen for myself, and I think that's true for everyone.
Okay, there's a question again from Kaushik. He's asking, is this a full-time employment, or is a probation period applicable? So the probation period typically is just 3 months or something like that. But correct. You can go ahead, Venki. You can just talk about it's a full-time employment. They have to.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a full-time employment. I think probation, as you rightly said, it is part of the process, Naren. But this will be a full-time employment, and it's absolutely. I mean, you would see that this is definitely requiring a full-time employment. And the cohort programs you will have to manage within the time, in terms of doing those presentations or preparing for those assessments. We will do anyway, because you will be part of the group, and the group will coordinate, they will fix calls, all of those things. So this is definitely a full-time employment, and the cohort program will be part of your employment, and the probation will be as per the policy. I mean, you don't need to worry much, because I think that as a part of the process, there is a probation period, and then followed by the probation period, you will be confirmed. So I think that's part of any process. I think that is not a thing to be worried about at all, but this is definitely a full-time employment.
Venki, I'm just looking, there are still questions coming up, but nothing on the career front or something. I'll just prompt you if there is anything. We'll just give maybe a couple of minutes. If there are no questions, then we can wind up.
Sure, Naren. I think this is the second time I'm speaking for Mittal Commerce Classes, and we have we have actually, Naren, we have a couple of wonderful talents from Jaipur.
Yes, indeed. In fact, we have quite a few people. In fact, we have a diverse set of people also from all over India, right?
Yeah.
From Punjab to Jammu.
Everyone. Yeah, no, I'm saying from Jaipur.
Yeah.
In fact, I was there for one of the pre-campus in Ahmedabad. And I had a lot of people who came from Jaipur. And in fact, one of my team member is from Jaipur. So that's where I said we get fantastic talents. And I'm looking forward that we should be having a couple of more wonderful talents like that in this set of people.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of cohorts and who become friends also.
Absolutely, yeah. So, in fact, I when he joined my team, he said, "You remember you were the one who interviewed me in Ahmedabad." I said, "Oh wow, yes, I recollect." So those are the pleasant experiences we get to see.
Sure.
Wonderful. Okay, then I will take a leave, Naren and Dale. Sure. That's okay.
Sure. Thank you so much, Venki. Thank you so much for joining in. And
thank you. It is my pleasure. Thanks, Naren and Dale for this opportunity, and thank you so much, MCC, for letting us present our success story and our program. And we are definitely looking forward to have wonderful talents from your in your career, from your training institute in Wipro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Venki. Thank you, MCC, so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye.